Well, we will get started this morning. Good morning to everybody. University Convocation this week, October 20th. I'm really excited today about our guest. I just want to share with you a little bit of his bio. Sam is the instructor in applied music, director also at Berea College's Bluegrass Ensemble. Brand new into the role, August of 2020, doing a host of things there at Berea. He is a Berea alum, originally from Virginia, and just a lover of Appalachian music as a musician. And in his work, uh, a great song entitled Ain't We Brothers, which went all over the place, even featured on National Public Radio. And in the last few years, worked with the traditional arts. He was a traditional arts director at Hyman Settlement School in Hyman, and now moving very comfortably into his role at Berea there. And the cool thing about Sam, although this morning him and I are just getting to meet each other, I love when you mention someone's name to other people and they start becoming hype men for a person. And Sam carries just a lot of love because anyone who knows him seems to really brag on him. So Sam, I just really appreciate you taking your time to share the space with us and to share your gifts.
Thank you, Rob. It's such an honor to meet you and such an honor to be with all of you today. Thank you for joining us. And I hope you can hear me okay. Let me know. Send me something in the chat if there's something goes wrong with the audio because there's so many variables online here. But as Rob said, I grew up in Virginia. I grew up in southwestern Virginia in Wythe County, which is right at the edge of the Blue Ridge. And it's a beautiful part of the world, lots of kind of rolling hills and farmland, and you can see the Blue Ridges sort of from a distance. And my family's been there for a bunch of generations, and I'm very lucky that my mom's mother, my grandma Brenda, and her sister, my aunt Sis, Corrine, are still with us, and they carry so much history of what it was like to grow up in Wythe County. And my great aunt, Sis, was born December 15th, 1932. And I had a wonderful opportunity to sit down and talk with her, gosh, maybe 8 years ago, and record her memories about what it was like growing up in Wythe County in the 30s. And she said the place where she grew up, she said it was more or less called Possum Holler, and they lived on a farm for the first couple years of her life. And I loved her memories, and I thought it was just poetry, what she was telling me. And I went home and transcribed the interview and moved the words around a little bit, and it became this song, which is called Stockyard Hill. In an old farmhouse way back in the cove, I'd listen, she'd remember. They named me Corrine, but I was the oldest. Everybody called me sister. We raised what we ate, there's work to be done. Where Daddy went, I'd follow. Between the kitchen and the branch, the fields and the barn, I learned the most of what I know. I'm proud of the way that I came up. Nothing comes closer than that love. There's a little bit left of what used to be, and these memories won't be leaving with me. On Saturday night, Stockyard Hill, Mama's people would all get together. Generations just picking and singing, didn't know one note from the other. And Charlie would lay that banjo down when he'd get happy with playing. He'd flat foot all over that room, rattle the dishes in the kitchen. I'm proud of the way that I came up. Nothing comes closer than that love. There's a little bit left of what get my sermon from a song. I'm proud of the way that I came up. Nothing comes closer than that love. Oh, how I miss it still to this day. But it comes right back every time you play. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. If you stay after the first 5 minutes of banjo, that means you're a diehard music lover. The banjo gets a lot of jokes told at its expense, and we just have to love on the banjo and pity it and take care of it. So there's a little banjo tune. And Rob mentioned a song that I wrote, gosh, maybe 9 years ago, called Ain't We Brothers. And this is about a coal miner from West Virginia. His name is Sam Williams. And in 2011, his name was Sam Hall, but he's since married his partner, and now his name is Sam Williams. But Sam was an underground coal miner in Kanawha County, West Virginia, not that far from Charleston. And he lived near Elkview, if you've driven through that area. And he faced terrible discrimination from his fellow workers. He was outed. Someone told one of his workers that he was gay and he lived with his partner, and his fellow miners were pretty cruel to him. They vandalized his dinner bucket and they damaged his truck. They took the wheel weights off of his truck so he could have wrecked going home. And he reported this to his supervisor at his mine, and they would just move him to another mine and hope it wouldn't happen. But the word traveled from mine to mine about who he was, and he kept being treated really poorly. And so eventually he filed a lawsuit and won a settlement, but he also spoke out at the state level to the state legislature in West Virginia about the need for protections and employment for LGBTQ people. And now we have those national protections, but at that time we didn't. So Sam Williams is a real Appalachian hero, I think, and this is part of his story in a song. This is called Ain't We Brothers. I was born here just the same as you. Another time, another day. I'm sure the good Lord took his time, made each of us just this way. I'll walk beside you step by step, and it never crossed my mind that I would grow up one of the different kind. That didn't stop me from chopping the wood, scraping my knees like all boys should, going down to the creek in the noonday sun, wringing out my shirt when the work got done. First things first, I'm a blue-collar man with scars on my knuckles, dust on my hands. You probably wouldn't have ever known I've got a man waiting on me at home. To tell you the truth, I don't want to fight, just want to say one thing outright to you. Ain't we flesh and blood all through? And ain't we brothers too? I took a job and worked right by you, walked down in that hole beside you. Thought I heard some whispers sound, got found out, word got around. I got made out for something I'm not, called everything but a child of God. Didn't mind to show it out in the parking lot. So I cut my coal with my head hung down, just like a stranger in my own town. I got bitter day by day, went home every night with the mess they made. First things first, I'm a blue-collar man with scars on my knuckles, dust on my hands. You probably wouldn't have ever known I've got a man waiting on me at home. To tell you the truth, I don't want to fight, just want to say one thing outright to you. Ain't we flesh and blood all through? And ain't we brothers too? Tell me I'm not man enough to set foot in that mine. Go on and tell me that once more, to my face this time. To tell you the truth, I don't want to fight, just want to say one thing outright to you. Ain't we flesh and blood all through? And ain't we brothers too? Right, thank you. I had the privilege of going to meet Sam Williams at his home in West Virginia. I recorded an album called Ain't We Brothers in 2015 and connected with Sam and thanked him for allowing me to sing about his story. And he was so welcoming and warm. He said, why don't you come visit us? And I did, and we recorded a music video at his home. And there's some old footage of coal mining. And what my favorite part of the whole experience was playing with his dog in their backyard, and just seeing Sam and Burley in their home was really lovely. And so thank you, Sam Williams. And I'll sing a lighter song now. One time I was driving down near Greer, South Carolina. It's not that far from Greenville, if you've ever been through there. And I saw this majestic sight. It was a hot pink house trailer on the top of a hill, and it was like Pepto-Bismol pink. It was absolutely fabulous, and I loved it so much. And I was thinking, driving along, I thought, well, what do they want for that? I wonder, what could I buy that trailer? Could I just hide away in that trailer and sit on a stump and write poems and never be heard from again? And I was thinking all these things, and just started meditating on this hot pink house trailer driving down the road. And so this is the song that came out of that. 1, 2, 1. Just give me a little hot pink house trailer, less troubles upon my mind, and some neighbors I know, a garden to grow, and a fella that treats me kind. I ain't paying no rent to the 1%, and without him I could do just fine. A little hot pink house trailer, less troubles upon my mind. Most days this life I'm living is a mystery mundane. Monday morning, gotta get my car running and get on my spreadsheet game. When 5 o'clock comes, I turn to go home, feeling just like a saint. And Mama always said there'd be days like this, but I'm looking for a day that ain't. Just give me a little hot pink house trailer, less troubles upon my mind. Some neighbors I know, a garden to grow, and a fella that treats me kind. I ain't paying no rent to the 1%, and without him I can do just fine. A little hot pink house trailer, less troubles upon my mind. I always knew there was more to living, and you know what, you all? I was right. And And I'll spend my days doing work for no pay, loving away the night. Some people might say you threw it away, but the truth is all in all, I feel like a dog in a big wide field with a brand new rubber ball. Just give me a little hot pink house trailer, less troubles upon my mind. Some neighbors I know a garden to grow and a fella that treats me kind. I ain't paying no rent to the 1%, and without him I could do just fine. A little hot pink house trailer, less troubles upon my mind. I got less trouble, I got way less trouble. All right, there we go. A little foolishness for your Tuesday afternoon there. So I was really, I should say this. So I am really fortunate to have two wonderful mentors in my music life, Kathy Fink and Marcy Markser, who are amazing inspirations to me. Kathy and Marcy are amazing musicians and singers and songwriters and also activists who have been advocating for women's rights and LGBTQ rights and the rights of human beings through their music for a long time. And Kathy and Marcy and I recorded an album together. Our group is called Fink, Markser, Gleaves, and the album is called Shout and Shine, and that record is on it. Kathy also gave me this banjo that I play, which was made in the 1960s. It's a lot like the banjo that Pete Seeger played, and I was just so honored to get to play this banjo. So thank you, Kathy and Marcy. And I wrote this song about my dear friend Ray Geringer, who is the producer of a podcast called Country Queers. And Country Queers is really a broader project. It's an oral history project. So Ray has been traveling the United States for 7 or 8 years, I guess, and recording stories of LGBTQ plus people who live in rural places. And it's a beautiful collection of interviews. You can find it at countryqueers.com. And the podcast is available anywhere now that you want to hear a podcast. And Ray is an inspiration to me. Ray is from southern West Virginia and now lives in eastern Kentucky in Knott County. And I think it was so admirable and so valuable, the service that Ray has done recording these stories, because LGBT stories have been erased from history, especially in rural places. People think that there are no queer people that live there, which is not true. My life contradicts that, and so many others do. And so check out the Country Queers podcast. It's a beautiful piece or collection of work. The stories are diverse. There are Native American stories, Black, Indigenous people of color. There are people from different class identities, different gender identities, ages, religions. It's just a diverse, beautiful portrait of people's stories. And so I wrote this theme for the podcast, and I call it Ray's Song. In the gloaming light, come walk by my side, down a gravel road by this creek, and you might hear a whippoorwill. You can feel the evening chill. You can see why I never want to leave. Here is the home where I feel strong, here on our land. this one stoplight town in this county round. We know how to care for our own. You can dance and raise a glass in this kitchen and laugh, and we know we will never be alone. Here is the home where I feel strong, here in these hills, in your arms. Here we've been, here we'll stay. We belong here in this place. We belong here in this place. I hear that city calling, I won't leave our life behind. I want to hold you in the morning, see that old ridge line. Here is the home where I feel strong, here on our land, in your arms. Here we've been, here we'll stay. We'll belong here in this place. We belong here in this place. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the nice comments, too. I appreciate the compliments there. So I'm going to share with you a short song, but I think it's an important song for this time. This is an old song from the Civil Rights Movement, and it's very simple. There's a civil rights activist named Ruby Sales who was very active in the 1960s and still speaks about her experience and is involved in social justice movements. And Ruby Sales said when she was growing up in the South, in the black church, she said this song was always present in her mind. It's called I Love Everybody in My Heart. And as Rob knows, as all of you know, it's such a challenging time to put that into practice, to say I love everybody in my heart. And I just love this song. I think it's so useful. And please join in with me singing here. And you can just hop right in. It's not got very many words, but it's a good song. I love everybody. I love everybody. I love everybody in my heart. I love everybody. I love everybody. I love everybody in my heart. Will you try that with me? I love everybody. I love everybody. I love everybody in my heart. I love everybody. I love everybody. I love everybody in my heart. Yes, I love my neighbor. Yes, I love my neighbor. Yes, I love my neighbor. Yes, I love my neighbor in my heart. Yes, I love my neighbor. Yes, I love my neighbor. Yes, I love my neighbor in my heart. And I love everybody. I love everybody. I love everybody in my heart. I love everybody. I love everybody. I love everybody in my heart. And you can't make me hate you. You can't make me hate you. You can't make me hate you in my heart. You can't make me hate you. No, you can't make me hate you. Oh, you can't make me hate you in my heart. One more. I love everybody. I love everybody. I love everybody in my heart. I love everybody. I love everybody. I love everybody in my heart. Thank you. I hope you'll sing that song to yourself in these difficult times. I want to sing a song that was written by an Eastern Kentucky songwriter named Lara Helene. Lara is one of my sheroes in this world. Lara is now a student at the University of Kentucky in her first year, and she, to be so young, has done some incredible things, and she is full of the fire and passion of fighting for social and environmental justice. And this song she wrote about her experience growing up in Montgomery County, I guess near Mount Sterling. Outside Mount Sterling is where Lara grew up. And there's so many incredible things I could say about Lara. She works with a group called Banned Conversion Therapy Kentucky, which is they're advocating at the state level for conversion therapy to be banned. Conversion therapy being a method that conservative religious groups sometimes use to try to convince queer people that they're not queer. And it's a hurtful practice, and Lara is fighting against that at the state level. And just telling beautiful stories in her art. She has a beautiful record you can find. It's called Roots. And that's just a beautiful collection of songs. And I know she's got more songs on the way. She writes all the time. And this is one she wrote called Simple Southern Life. I was raised at this country store, shooting shit with my grandpa's friends and talking about being poor, eating biscuits and gravy when they ask how is school. Have you found yourself a girl yet? I just play it cool, because there's so much they don't know about me, and there's so much I'm so used to hiding. I want my simple southern life, bluegrass picking every Saturday night, hot coffee on a Sunday morning. No, I won't ask for more, except a beautiful man to hold my hand. Loving him feels right. I want the freedom to love and be myself while I live a simple southern life. It's hard to find belonging when your love sets you apart. I wouldn't change how I was brought up, but I can't change my heart. I've known since I was young that I am not the same. The same folks who taught me love are the ones who taught me shame. And there's so much they wish they didn't know about me, and there's so many truths they can't stop denying about my simple southern life. Football games every Friday night, hot fire in a winter storm. Though I won't ask for more, except a beautiful man to hold my hand. Loving him feels right. I want the freedom to love and be myself while I live a simple southern life. Bust down that closet door, I can't hide anymore. I never meant to hurt you, but it's been killing me. This weight upon my shoulders, I'm finally free to live my simple southern life. Make love to him every single night, share coffee on a Sunday morning. No, I won't ask for more. I found a beautiful man to hold my hand. Loving a simple southern line. It's my life. That's Lara Helane's song there. And I should say, I changed the lyrics, of course, to reflect my experience. I didn't change many lyrics, but Lara Helane, look out for her music. She's incredible. I guess we've got time for maybe a couple more and then some questions. Thanks again for staying on the line here. I know choosing to be on Zoom is, it says something that you care about your education when you're choosing to be on Zoom. That's great. So, what will we sing now? I'd like to sing a song written by my friend Jared Tyler. Jared is from Oklahoma, but he grew up in a rural place. His favorite thing to do is go fishing. That's Jared's one of his practices in life. And he is an incredible songwriter and musician, and he plays every instrument with strings you can think about. And he is a beautiful singer, and I had the chance to tour with him, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and we loved to get to play music together. And this is a song I really love to hear him sing. Jared has an incredible record called Dirt on Your Hands. Look that up, Jared Tyler, Dirt on Your Hands. It's one of my favorite albums. I've played it over and over and over again. It's a happy album, too. That's good for this time as well. I love this gratitude song that Jared wrote. It's called Lucky I Am. A big old sun setting down, 30 miles to the edge of town. A red tail flying high, not a worry in the sky. Driving to see a good friend of mine. I don't have that many now. Oh, the stories we could tell. Some are resting in the earth, and that's how I know it's worth driving to see a good friend of mine. If you can count your friends on one good hand, count yourself a lucky man. Lucky I am. Oh, lucky I am. I left the pain at home, and now I drive alone. With one hand on the wheel, past the flowers on the hill, driving to see a good friend of mine. You can count your friends on one good hand, count yourself a lucky man. Lucky I am. Oh, lucky I am. Yes, lucky I am. All right, Jared Tyler's song there. I will play one more, and then we can take some questions. I suppose Rob already told you all, but October is LGBTQ History Month, and a teacher founded that this month in the 1990s, so we can reflect on all the work that has been done to work for equal rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer people. There's more letters in that alphabet now than I can even name, but I use queer as an umbrella term to refer to the whole LGBTQ plus community. And there has been so much work done, you know. I have great admiration for many people who have stood up so I could be who I am. You know, I'm so lucky that I've never had any backlash. I've never had anybody make threats or, tell me that I shouldn't be singing about my life or I shouldn't be open about who I am. Never once has that happened to me. And that's because activists for years and years in this country have worked to advocate for LGBTQ rights and just to tell people that we're, different in one way, but mostly we're the same. Human beings are mostly the same. So, in the spirit of that, here's a love song that I wrote when I was a student at Berea College. Maybe 9 years ago, and I'm very proud, as Rob said, to be an instructor at Berea College now. I teach Appalachian instruments and direct our bluegrass ensemble. So if you're interested in those programs, feel free to contact me. It's a lot of fun. I played in our bluegrass ensemble for 4 years and traveled all around sharing this music. And so it's wonderful to be here in Berea. This is my home. If I can't be in Southwest Virginia, this is where I want to be. And I wrote this song thinking about the choices, the hard choices that some queer people have to make about whether they will love their faith that they were raised in, whether they will be in that space, or whether they will honor the love in their heart for other human beings, like a romantic love. Sometimes those conflict, right? And I was thinking about that and wrote this love song. It's called Just Like Jordan. I've danced with the devil and I've seen the light, trading sweet Sunday mornings for Saturday nights. I never thought of myself as the church-going kind, and some Sunday mornings it crosses my mind. And when I look at you asleep in my sheets, I wonder if heaven could ever compete. I would lose sight of everything to make you see. You're just like Jordan to me. When all hope is fleeting and not a friend can be found, on the banks of your river I'll lay myself down. Some people die waiting for what I've got now, and I thank God for it every time you're around. When the blue light of morning is lost in your hair, I leave my eyes open and search for a prayer. Oh, as long as I'm lost in your crystalline stream, you're just like Jordan to me. Love is the greatest of all things I know. In the warmth of your water, I'll rock on my soul. On the banks of your river, forever I'll stand, with my head tied in white and my knees in the sand. The second I saw you, I planted my feet. Nothing this side of heaven could convince me to leave. I would lose sight spite of everything to make you see. You're just like Jordan to me. You're just like Jordan to me. All right. I'm going to turn it back over to Rob here.
This is so good. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts and talents, from hot pink trailer to civil rights to these great stories of individuals you've shared with us today. I just so appreciate it. They had a question about the song that you said Ruby Sales shared. Did she write that, or who is there an author to that song?
I think it's an old traditional song.
Okay,
Yes, I think it's an African American sacred song, an old
gotcha.
one. Yes, and thank you for your kind words. It's really an honor to be with everyone today.
Does anyone have any questions they want to share with Sam? You got a lot of love in the chat box. A lot of people
That's so
appreciating
nice.
it.
Well, thank you all.
I just had one question about your passion for songwriting, and for anybody who might be interested in trying to maybe tell their own story or share through song. What advice do you have for people who maybe don't have the same kind of talent you have, but have something bubbling up on the inside? What would you say to them?
Well, I think really everyone can sing or can play a musical instrument, and that's and everyone can write. Everyone can tell their story, in some form, and that is something that I think we need to shift in our culture. People feel like, oh, musicians play music, but musicians become musicians because somebody encourages them and shows them how to play. I don't really think anyone is totally self-taught, but there, I would say, make time to reflect on your experience. And if you sit down and you have a time when it's quiet and you're alone, and you can have pen and paper, and you can just write down what's on your heart. And I think that's the most important thing, is creating the space for yourself. That's what I struggle with in my songwriting right now. You've got to have that appointment with yourself. That's a concept from the poet Mary Oliver, and many other people, say that. But allow yourself that space. It's valuable to journal about what's happening in your heart and in your mind. And then I think that's what I found was when I was journaling every day, lyrics would just start emerging. You when you go back through what you've written, you will find a phrase in there or something as you're working that is the seed for a poem or a song. And that's a great thing about the internet too. There's so many like master classes with writers and songwriters and things. You can find these online. And yeah, and musically, don't be afraid to play. That's the thing. It's like music, that we use that verb, play music, but a lot of people think, oh, everything I do has to sound good or I'm not good. And that's not true. You really have to be willing to just make weird sounds and just figure out what melodies start by people just ad-libbing usually. I was talking with three young songwriters yesterday on Zoom, and they were saying the same thing. They said, I just get out my guitar, I play a chord, and I just start singing over it, ad-libbing, and then eventually a melody will start to kind of form from that. And yeah, so and if you want to learn to play an instrument, there's so many resources on the internet, so many musicians giving online lessons now. There's just a wealth of knowledge to be found if you want to grow your creative side there. So I hope that made sense.
Yes, that's really, really helpful. Great advice. Thank you so much. So again, on behalf of the University of Pikeville, thank you for taking your time. I'll send a note to Berea just to say thanks for being such great partners and sharing their talented artists with us. But Sam, thank you for your journey. for who you are, and just the gift to the world. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Rob. I admire the work that you all do, and I look forward to hearing more about the new LGBT plus student group on campus there and at UPike. And I hope you all have a safe semester. Take care.
All right, bye.
Thank you.